Hello everyone, welcome to Civil 360. I am Saurabh and today we are going to deal with a very important topic of geography, that is rotation, revolution and seasons. Before we begin, let me give you a clarity about the geography as a subject, as a the nature of geography. Geography is basically very conceptual and a very logical subject, just like science. But there is a lack of some sort of universalization, unlike Newton's law of motion, which used to apply irrespective of the place. Means the Newton's law of motion, if you are on the earth, they will apply in the same way. If you are in the space, they will apply in the same way. So there is a universal application. But when it comes to the geography, though it looks like science, though it is having some sort of logics, but it is not like science. There are logics, but logics have some sort of limited application. There is no universalization, there is no universal application in geography, especially when it comes to the conceptual part. So it's like a science, there are logics, and we're going to study with respect to the logics as well, because when you think with the logics, it is very easy to understand, it is very easy to remember the contextual reference. Let's begin. So first of all, we're going to see very small concepts, and all of these concepts will all together, when they combined, then we will have a broad understanding about a particular topic. So first of all, if we take a reference of our earth, as you know, this is how our earth used to look like when it comes to the textbook. You have seen this image in the textbook, but this is what the reality, this is what the real shape of our earth. Now there is a indifferences in between these two. This is a perfect sphere, and if you see this particular image, so here like there is a irregularities. This shape is being known as geoid shape. Our earth is not a sphere, our earth is basically geoid in its shape. So our earth is geoid. Now, what is the meaning of geoid actually? The meaning of geoid shape means what? That there is a bulge on equator. It is because of the centrifugal force. There is a bulge on equator, and these poles are actually flattened, like compressed. So it is an imperfect sphere. It is being known as what? Geoid shape. Geoid shape, imperfect sphere. There is a bulge on equator and there is a flattening part on pole. I told you, for the study purposes, we take a reference of this shape, but actually the shape is different. That's why there is lack of universal application in geography, unlike science, right? It's because of the lack of shape indifferences. Logics may not apply universally when it comes to the principles, when it comes to the concepts, when it comes to the logics. So this is what a general kind of shape kind of idea, and I told you that why there is no universalization in geography. Let's start with the core of the core topics, and I told you that we will have some small topics, and when all of these small topics will connect all together, then there will be a broad understanding of the topic. So here you can see that we have a earth, and I told you for the study purposes we are taking a reference of a perfect sphere, though the actual shape is different, but for the study purposes, for our all of the understanding part of geography, we will always take a reference of this shape. So we have a rotation, and when there is a movement of earth on its own axis, that is being known as what? Rotation. The movement of earth on its own axis will be known as what? Rotation. Is some sort of movement, and when we have this movement, so this movement is resulted into what? Rotation. Earth rotate along its own axis, and that rotation, direction of rotation is like this, from west to east. This is what the direction of rotation. And earth takes almost 24 hours to complete a one rotation. So that is what our one day, 12 hours day, 12 hours nights. So sometimes the part of earth will be in front of sun, that will be under the daytime, and some part, or let's say the half of the part which is behind the sun, will be under the permanent darkness, not permanent but like variable uh, conditions will be there. So we will have at a particular time period when we have a darkness, so that will be called as what, night. And for a particular time period when we have a this thing, I mean this particular part of the sphere, so here we will have a daylight, day, and the backward part will be what, night. So this is what the 24 hours, 12 hours day, 12 hours night, this is what the geographically driven duration of day and night. So day and night are actually taking place because of the rotation, of our earth. They are like, we have a some sort of, here you can see, for example, this is for the landmass, this is what our India. So day, now India is in the night, then we have a next day, then again like we have a completion of one rotation, 12 hours, and like we have a keep on rotation of our earth surface. Now here I just want to tell you one thing, guys. You might be thinking that why earth is rotating, why there is a tilt, we will see. So for science purposes, yes, you have to take care about the causes, but when it comes to the geography, you have to see the nature as it is. You have to understand that what effect will be there of nature when it comes to the civil services point of view. You have to see that context only. How geography will going to affect the society. So how this rotation will going to affect society, that should be your prima facie concern. Instead of this, that how what factor is actually causing the rotation. Okay, so there is a differences in terms of the expert approach, and there is a differences in terms of journalist approach. So we are taking, or especially the civil services exam is from the journalist point of view. Okay, so this is what some idea about the rotation.